dudes and dudettes? How are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to Cinema Chazzy, the segment on this channel where I review the movies that I watch and stuff, give my discussions, analysis, and opinions and what have you, And in case you guys haven't noticed, I started playing Madden NHL 21 on my channel recently, and as per the term when I play a certain kind of game series on my channel, I'm going to be doing now talking about the sport itself in vlogs, players, reviewing movies, TV shows, which surprisingly there is a very large plethora of, there's a very good variety of this kind of content, for me to watch and review. And today's movie is something that it's been a while since I've seen it. However, I have seen it multiple times, so I kind of know it beat by beat. It's a really good movie, which I really got into despite not having liked football at the time, and it is The Blind Side. Starring Sandra Bullock, one of the best actresses ever, in my opinion. And it follows the story of Michael Orr, who is a professional footballer. He plays American football. He's a defensive lineman who came from a very, very impoverished upbringing, and he eventually made it to the NFL with the help of his foster family, And the movie, I'm not entirely sure how close to the source material it is, how much liberty it takes with what's told, but the story seems just powerful enough to be real. There's not a lot of exaggeration, so I can imagine that it's really true to the source material, and I mean it had a budget of like $30 million and it grossed over 300 million, so yeah, whether or not the story was true to that degree, it still was really successful, and it actually Sandra won the Academy Award for Best Actress. There were a lot of accolades, and it's a really, really powerful movie. And now the thing is that I'm going to have to look at the cheat sheet for just the name of certain characters because I don't really remember them in full, But we have the family, right? The Toohey family, Leah and Sean, and they have two kids, They have Collins and also SJ, Sean, his nickname is SJ, he actually gets along with Big Mike a lot. Michael, at first, he's sort of like in a limbo, because ever since he was young, he's been bouncing back and forth from foster home to foster home, and then he always kind of escapes and manages to find his way back to his mom to take care of her, but unfortunately, she can't afford to take care of him, and she lives in a really bad neighborhood, really shady with gang members, that kind of violence that you see in movies like that. Coach Carter was also a good example of it, same thing with Freedom Riders, but that's getting off topic. So essentially, the movie shows the progress, Michael is a very good kid, but he is unfortunately always so down on his luck. He's very modest and humble, He's very used to taking no for an answer. So the family finds him in this situation, and they sort of very slowly, it doesn't happen overnight, but they kind of start to adopt him a little bit and help him out, and then eventually he does move in, And the movie actually starts off, how exactly does it begin again? I forgot. Foster care, drug addiction, this and that, Oh yes, he actually tries out for the local school football team, And everybody is really impressed with his size and his skill, his athleticism, despite his very low test scores, He does really badly in school, no surprise there. And we actually see this happening, Everybody is impressed. There is one particular tryout where somebody videotapes him and sends him, Actually, this wasn't even a tryout. This is actually in a game that happens later. But he does eventually start being called up by scouts, but I think I'm getting ahead of myself. The movie establishes Michael already, having a very, there's like a very kind, nurturing, motherly relationship between Leah and him, She really feels sorry for him. She kind of takes him in, and the movie establishes right away that he is a very, very, kind of like he's a wanderless being, He just goes, wanders here and there, He sleeps on the street if he has to, he sleeps in the school if he has to, And the movie establishes right off the bat that he just has nowhere to go, nobody to turn to, and nothing to do,
Who is that, SJ?
Big Mike. He goes to high school here.
What is he wearing? It's below freezing.
Do you have any place to stay tonight? Don't you dare lie to me.
Was this a bad idea?
What's the big deal? It's just for one night. It is just for one night, right, Leah?
Now, the movie does explore the themes of racism. You know, there are a few tense moments, you know, where eventually he is sort of adopted by the family, you know, because at one point the family notices him picking leftover food from the bleachers, then later walking home in the rain, you know, without proper clothing. He says he's gonna go to the gym and just sleep there. Then they invite him to spend the night at their place, you know, which he does, but the next day he leaves, you know. Then Lee asks him to spend Thanksgiving with her, you know. So they eventually start to kind of welcome him into the family as one of their own, you know. At first, he's kind of like a family friend, pretty much a charity case, but he does slowly start to integrate, you know, into their everyday lives. Other people, this is where the racism comes in, you know, because there are some friends or acquaintances of Lee who noticed that she took in a large black boy to live with her, you know. She has a young daughter, you know, so there are themes of prejudice, you know, and it is actually, it's not exactly swept under the rug. They do deal with it, you know, very head on, and Michael starts to play a little bit of football for the school. He does go to a few tryouts, you know, and as a lineman, he is supposed to protect his quarterback, so he receives a lot of rigorous training, you know. Even Lee kind of tells him off a little bit, you know, and is her name actually Lee? Because it doesn't seem Leanne. Okay, but can I just call her Lee, or should I say Leanne? What have you. So during one particular game, he actually pushes one of the other players so far that he actually ends up flying over a sign, you know. And then this is the video that goes viral, and a lot of universities want him to play, you know. He does slowly and gradually improve more to the point where he can play for the college level, but he needs to up his grade point average, you know. Throughout this whole time, we see different scenes of him kind of struggling with himself, you know. He does befriend SJ. They become really close. It's kind of like they are essentially brothers right off the bat, you know. And he integrates himself more and more into the family, you know. Eventually, they help him get a driver's license. He gets his own room in the house. They also buy him a car, you know. They're pretty much loaded, you know. They're very wealthy, so they can pretty much do whatever the hell they want with him. They take him out to buy new clothes. He starts studying, taking school more seriously to raise his grades up, you know, while also getting better and better in football. They do eventually bring his mother back into the mix, you know. She's still living in a really rough neighborhood, and this is eventually a little bit, there's a lot of good progress, you know. We kind of see the evolution. Eventually, Leanne goes to her and asks if she can adopt Michael, you know. And when this happens, by this point, things have already gotten really, really dramatic, you know. He's struggling really hard to get his grades up, and we see him actually trying really hard. But then there's a car accident where SJ gets hurt, but he puts his arm in front of him so he doesn't take the full blunt of the airbag, you know. So there are a few mistakes that are made, but in general, the movie really shows a lot of the character development. And this, in terms of character development, this is one of the best movies I have ever seen in my entire life, bar none, man. Amazing character development, especially with Michael, you know. The actor who played him, you know, did it really well because he's really subtle in the way he executed his craft, you know. And it's really amazing how the chemistry and the cast all came together, you know. Really good music as well, and how they play around with different themes, balancing them out, you know, trying to help Michael become better, you know. It's really awesome, man. And honestly, there's just not a single dull beat in this entire movie.
He's been enrolled in 7 different institutions. His grade point average begins with 0.
He needs to do better in school.
I'd love to work with him.
This is mine?
Yes, sir.
Never had one before.
What, a room to yourself?
A bed.
Now, obviously the movie plays out a lot better, you know, if you understand, you know, how football works. If you watch the game and know about it, you know, then you can understand it much better, you know. Like the first time that I saw it, I didn't understand a single goddamn thing, you know. If I see it today, knowing more about how the fundamentals of the sport work, it might be a lot better for me, you know. But it's nice. It's still really good. They run playbooks, you know, different rules and plays, you know, so there is a lot of a football culture into it, you know. Eventually the movie builds up to a crescendo where it is an NCAA investigator, you know, starts to find everything a little suspicious, and she goes to investigate and finds out that the whole entire Toohey family has sort of been manipulating Michael to enroll in a certain school, you know, the alma mater of the family where everybody attended, you know, which is the University of Mississippi, also known as Ole Miss, you know. And they just want him to go there because the whole family has. Sean Sr. played basketball there, Leanne herself was a cheerleader, and Miss Sue, who's Michael's private tutor to help him get his grades up, she also attended there, you know. And he seems like this moment of the movie seemed a little yada yada. It's like they just wanted to create tension, you know, because he got upset over it, even though we're talking about a family who gave him a roof and food, clothes, a car, a license, you know, a chance to play the sport that he loved a lot, you know. So it seemed like he was a little ungrateful, you know, and a little rude to get upset over this, but what have you. And it's just, I don't know, it just seems like they were kind of like rushing to finish the movie or something, you know, because me, I would be so damn grateful, I wouldn't care. I'll go whatever damn university you want me to at this point, man.
How's he doing?
Haven't quite gotten the hang of it yet.
It's all real nice what you're doing, but don't be surprised if one day you wake up and he gone.
Michael was here.
Tell him to sleep with one eye open.
You threatened my son. You threatened me.
But anyway, Michael does get a little hurt by this, you know, and he goes to try to find his mother back where she lived, you know, where he grew up with her at the old neighborhood, you know, where it's established that she was living, but she was apparently evicted, went somewhere else. But he does meet up with some gang members, his old friends apparently, you know. At first the conversation is pleasant, you know, but then the kingpin starts kind of talking smack and kind of hating on Lee and her daughter Collins, you know. Then he starts threatening them. Michael gets up and beats everyone's asses in a really crazy moment of violence, you know, that it just bursts out of him, you know, and he is able to thankfully escape, you know. But it's a really nice moment, you know, where he finally lets out his anger and shows how much he cares for the family, you know. And then the movie eventually concludes, you know, and it is shown that you know, he did accept going to the Mississippi College, you know, the university, because, and in a really touching moment he says, because that's where my family goes to school, his family being the new people, you know, the ones who adopted him. It's really amazing, very good journey, you know, great movie. And at the very end, it shows real scenes of the actual family and Michael Orr himself in real life, you know, being drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in 2009, you know, in the NFL draft. So that's really awesome. And it's so crazy, man, because the true story is just, it's really close to what the movie presented, you know. And I am considering doing the next video talking about just Michael Orr, you know. I think it's going to be really cool to get that done. And I'm going to talk about his career statistics, you know, kind of building up on what I reviewed here in the movie. And if I had to give this movie a rating, honestly, man, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 10 out of 10. You know, I'm sorry, but that's what it's going to have to be, because I am a sucker for sports movies, you know, especially ones that are based in true facts, real life athletes, you know. So this one really got me. I can't, man. 10 out of freaking 10, dude. But anyway, guys, I gotta get going because my battery is running severely low. I gotta wrap this video up. I'm sorry if I'm rushing here at the end. I just want to try to get my outro screen out before the damn camera dies, okay? So if you guys happen to like this video, if you watched this movie before, let me know in the comments below. Give me your personal rating. Tell me if you liked it. If you didn't see it, then you gave yourself a bunch of spoilers. Stop watching my movie reviews without watching the damn movies that they're about, okay? If you happen to like this video, please go ahead and give it a like and also subscribe to my channel, because I release videos every single day. While you're at it, hit the notification bell to know exactly what time I upload, because it's all over the damn place, my upload schedule lately, okay? And that's it, guys. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Roll the outro screen, quickly, go!
Mike's the best left tackle I've seen in years.
You're changing that boy's life. No, he's changing mine.
The Blind Side.
I said you could thank me later. It's later, Bert.